Right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our Journey of Hope 2021 Gala Night and our program for the second and final evening, again, coming back virtually. I'm back, Faranas Chaudhry. I'll be your MC for the evening. Thank you so much for joining today. For all who joined yesterday, thank you so much for staying with us. And for everyone who is joining us today, thank you so much for making time this evening. For everyone who is joining us for the first time or not too familiar with Spreeha, Spreeha is a 501c nonprofit organization. We deeply engaged within underprivileged communities to establish an atmosphere where they feel enabled to exercise their rights and responsibilities. From Seattle and Dallas to Dhaka, Cox's Bazar, Kurigram, Rangpur, and Satkhira, we work locally and globally to empower, address needs, and raise social awareness. With tools like healthcare, education, training, and opportunities, Spreeha is all about a holistic approach to empower. We pursued a dream of building medical clinics, and we love to ensure that it's well-staffed and well-equipped year after year. We are passionate about building schools, and we love to ensure they're occupied by amazing teachers and students. We love to provide college scholarships to students we meet in our after-school care or provide single mothers with vocational training, so to enable them to support their family. Today, we'll continue hearing some astounding stories about social workers, teachers, doctors, and volunteers who are going above and beyond. Today, we'll kick off by hearing from some of our donors who has been with us for a long, long time. Before that, I wanted to give just a quick reminder, do visit our spreeha.org/JOH 2021 page and hit the green donate button on your left. And if you're pledging, the pledge button is a little below in the center. If you scroll down, if you have company matching funds, please do add them in as well. And now we'll hear from our donors. Bear with me for a few seconds where I go ahead and do a quick technical transition here so that I can bring our donor in front of you. Thank you for bearing with me, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Muhammad Hassan Ali. I'm a software engineer. I live in Seattle area since 2009. Me and my wife is involved in Spreeha's journey from the very beginning. It's very exciting to see how Spreeha has grown over the years with every little steps. I love Spreeha because it has provided a platform to do something for our beloved country, Bangladesh. The organization is very transparent and they provide regular updates. You can go to Spreeha's website and see all the previous reports. We know many past and present members of Spreeha and truly amazed by the passion and dedication they have for Spreeha and the mission they have adopted to change the life of people. With some donations, at least we can be part of their journey. The best part of Spreeha is their strategy to eradicate poverty by an all-out effort, which is good health enables you to pursue training and education, which can help you to pursue better job and living. The impact of Spreeha is huge. The numbers really tell their success story. Last year, Spreeha's healthcare program has served more than 14,000 people. Can you imagine how much relief, hope, and smile they have brought to people's face? Helping each person is a story for that person that they go and tell to others. I had the opportunity to visit Spreeha Bangladesh a few years back to see their work in healthcare training and education. I can assure you your donations are making impact to people's life, and they're really grateful for every donation you send to them. I wish all the best for Spreeha and looking forward to its presence in every corner of Bangladesh.
Hi, my name is Nikhat Sharif.
And my name is Khiza Sharif.
And we live in Sammamish, Washington. I'm the founder and CEO of MAPS MCRC and Kids for Peace, soon to be called as Essentials First.
We have been engaged in helping people in need in our local community, as well as those experiencing hardships all over the world for several years now.
Spreeha has been a project that is very close to our heart.
We support Spreeha for the tangible impact that the organization has had in transforming the lives of the most underprivileged, giving them access to healthcare, education, and providing them with access to economic opportunities to transform their lives. It is led and supported by people that we know and people that we trust. We know these are the people who will put our donations to the best use possible. We are thankful to Spreeha for bringing life into the lives of children and families, providing them access to opportunities that would otherwise simply not exist without the on-the-ground work that they do.
Please join in to support Spreeha and their cause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we heard from Hassan Ali and Nikhat and Kiza Sharif. Thank you so much for your time this evening and to participate in this program with us. We thank you again. And now time for another special story. We will take you over Yasin's journey, a heart-melting story of struggle, resiliency, achievement, making the impossible possible. So again, let me go back and take you to Yasin's journey, and I'll probably pause a little bit here. Bear with me while I do a slight technical transition.
আমার নাম ইয়াসিন, আমি ক্লাস 5-এ পড়ি। আমি তার সাথে সাথে বেলুনও বিক্রি করি। মিসেরা আমাদেরকে ড্রয়িং শেখায়, নাচ শেখায়, আবার ফুল বানানো শেখায়। লকডাউনে ক্লাস করাতে পারছে না, সেজন্য বাড়িতে এসে ক্লাস করায়।
করোনা যখন বাংলাদেশে ধরা পড়লো তখন স্কুলটা বন্ধ হয়ে গেল, ওদের সব পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ। তখন আমরা চিন্তা করলাম যে বাচ্চাদের নিয়ে যে এখন যদি এরকম লং টাইম ওদের গ্যাপ পড়ে যায় তো দেখা যাবে যে ওদের বাবা মারা আবার ওদের পড়াশোনাটা বন্ধ করে কাজে দিতেছে। এখন আমরা ওদের বাসায় যে ওদের ক্লাস নিই, তো কম সময় হইলেও ওরা এখন প্রতিদিনই শিখছে। স্কুলের বাচ্চারা ক্রাফটিং এর কাজ শিখছে, ছবি আর্ট করা শিখতেছে, ওরা এখন একটা টাচিং এর মধ্যে আছে। অনেক সময় জায়গার সমস্যা হলে আমরা দেখা যায় যে বাড়ির পাশে যদি একটু খোলা জায়গা থাকে তো সেইখানে আমরা 3-4 জনকে একসাথে করে আমরা ক্লাসটা নিয়ে নিই।
That was Yasin's story. That video made me emotional when I saw it for the first time. It's making me emotional again. And I think for a lot of you, that's the case. But let's take a little bit of a different turn here. Let's show you what we are doing on the back end. Let's go visit our telehealth project. Telehealth will provide you with a peek into how Spreeha has been innovating using technology, enabling us to keep operating during the pandemic. So here you go.
গাইবান্ধাতে স্প্রিহা টেলিহেলথ প্রজেক্টে হেলথ ওয়ার্কার হিসেবে কাজ করে মমিন মিয়া। ফার্স্ট এইড বক্স আর আনুষঙ্গিক জিনিসপত্র নিয়ে প্রতিদিন সকাল সকাল সে বেরিয়ে পড়ে গ্রামের পথ ধরে। গ্রামের সব রাস্তায় তো আর যানবাহন চলে না, তাই পায়ে হেঁটেই যেতে হয় এক বাড়ি থেকে অন্য বাড়ি। এভাবে বাড়ি বাড়ি ঘুরে যাদেরকে ডাক্তার দেখানোর দরকার হয় তাদের সবাইকে একটা জায়গায় জড়ো করে মমিন। এরপর বুঝিয়ে বলে কিভাবে মোবাইলে ভিডিও কলের মাধ্যমে ডাক্তারকে নিজের সমস্যার কথা সুন্দরভাবে বলা যায়। কিন্তু চিকিৎসার জন্য প্রাথমিক কিছু পরীক্ষা নিরীক্ষা তো করা লাগতেই পারে। ডাক্তারের পরামর্শ অনুযায়ী মমিন সেই কাজগুলো করে দেয়। এই জন্য স্পৃহা থেকেই তাকে ট্রেনিং দেওয়া হয়েছে। এরপর রোগীকে ডাক্তারের সাথে ভিডিওতে যুক্ত করে দেয় মুমিন। ভিডিও কলের মাধ্যমে রোগী নিজের সমস্যার কথা ডাক্তারকে বলে, সেই সমস্যাগুলো শুনে ডাক্তার সমাধান দেন এবং সবশেষে একটা ডিজিটাল প্রেসক্রিপশন পাঠিয়ে দেন। ডিজিটাল প্রেসক্রিপশন তো রোগীকে দেওয়া সম্ভব হয় না, তাই সেটা দেখে মুমিন চট করে প্রেসক্রিপশনটা হাতে লিখে ফেলে। এরপর রোগীকে বুঝিয়ে বলে প্রেসক্রিপশনে কী লেখা আছে, কোন ওষুধ খেতে হবে, কখন খেতে হবে, কত দিন খেতে হবে, সবই বুঝিয়ে বলে সে। এভাবেই সাতক্ষীরাতে রামপ্রসাদ, মেহেরপুরে সুদেব আর বাগেরহাটে নিপা কাজ করে যাচ্ছে গ্রামে গ্রামে। পৌঁছে দিচ্ছে স্বাস্থ্যসেবা টেলিহেলথের মাধ্যমে। আর টেলিহেলথে যে ডাক্তাররা কাজ করছেন তারাও পরম মমতায় দেখে দিচ্ছেন এক একটা রোগী। এলাকার মানুষগুলো এখন খুব খুশি। অসুখ হলে এখন আর দুর্গম পথ পাড়ি দিয়ে সদরে যেতে হয় না তাদের। একটা ফোন দিলেই বাড়ি চলে আসেন মমিন মিয়া, রামপ্রসাদরা। এরপর হাতের একটা বাটনে চাপ দিয়েই একেবারে যেন মুখোমুখি কথা বলা যায় ডাক্তারের সাথে।
আমার অনেকদিন ধরে গলায় সমস্যা, যাতায়াত করতে, শহরে যাতায়াত করার সমস্যা, সংসারের অভাব অনটনের কারণে চিকিৎসা করতে পারিনি। হঠাৎ করে টেলিহেলথের ভাইয়েরা আসি বলার পর তাদের ওখানে চিকিৎসা নেওয়ার পর আমি ভিডিও কলের মাধ্যমে চিকিৎসা নেওয়ার পর অনেকটা আগের থেকে অনেকটা সুস্থ হয়ে গেছি।
All right, that was a remarkable video. Remarkable in the sense how technology is enabling us to navigate the current challenges, right? Especially, in adverse conditions in a country like Bangladesh, where these rural areas doesn't even have proper connectivity. That actually pinpoints to how much back-end work and effort that Spreeha team has been funneling into execute these programs. Taking a cue from there, I will take you to two individuals now. It's time for us to hear from two tech gurus, Ross Smith, who is also our Spreeha board member. He is a supportability engineering leader, modern work at Microsoft. He's also author of the Practical Guide to Defect Prevention and holds 7 US patents. Alongside him, you'll also hear from Shakil Ahmed, General Manager of Customer Service and Support at Microsoft, who will take you, and these two will take you through their story of technology for good, tech for accessibility, humanitarian causes, health, disaster response, cultural heritage, digital safety, responsible AI, climate change, and reskilling. Welcome, Ross Smith and Shakil Ahmed. All yours.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Hey there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Very glad you could join us here at Spreeha today. And my name is Ross Smith. I am a member of the board at Spreeha, as well as a support engineering leader at Microsoft in the modern work. I'm very pleased to be here today with longtime colleague, friend, and my boss, Shakil Ahmed, who is the General Manager for Modern Workplace Support Engineering. He has been 21 years at Microsoft, and his previous roles include Director of Product Development, as well as Software Development Lead, and previous industry experience including Kodak and Macnica in Japan. Shakil is also fluent in 4 languages, Japanese, Chinese, English, and Bengali. And we're here today to talk about technology for good. So with that, I'd like to welcome you, Shakil. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here with you, Ross. Only hope that I was live. I'm semi-live now because I had to fly out, as you know, that for an inevitable schedule change. But I look forward to engage better in the future.
Thank you, Shakil, and welcome. I wanted to talk today with you about technology for good. As a longtime technology professional, I'm sure you have experience and perspectives maybe you can share with us today. I want to talk just briefly on a few programs where Spreeha, particularly during the pandemic, has been able to apply technology, and we've really been able to make an impact through using, in many cases, Microsoft technology. And so first is a leadership program, creative leadership program called Praga. This is designed for adolescents to teach them leadership skills and work with remote schools and train teachers to train students, sort of a train the trainers model, to really help develop creative and leadership skills in these students. Obviously, during the pandemic and lockdown, that was at risk, but through the creative use of Teams and Zoom, the program was able to continue and impacting youth across the country. Second is just the overall, and maybe it's first, the overall ability for us to operate during the pandemic. A lot of NGOs were shut down during lockdown, and the years of impact was lost. And again, through the partnership with Microsoft Teams, Spreeha was able to continue to reach out to our constituents and really have a huge impact. And really appreciative of Microsoft's relationship with nonprofits, and the ability for us to use these products has been very impactful. And then finally, just as impactful, maybe a little less technical, but we have set up a telehealth program where typically, patients would travel for days to get to see a doctor, and then during lockdown, that's obviously not an option. And so the ability to leverage phone technology, we were able to get healthcare into the minds of the people that needed it. And so just wanted to touch on a few of the things that Spreeha has been doing and sort of get your thoughts in these areas around education, healthcare, humanitarian action, your thoughts on technology for good in these areas.
Look, technology for good has become more important than ever before, particularly what the world has been going through the last couple of years facing pandemic. It exposed every person, nation, and society on the earth. There is a greater need of reducing digital divide, and that is one of our goal, to enable and empower every person. When we try to do our part, and this is probably the first time our team, more specifically your team, Ross, that made it immensely satisfying to build a model of automation and diagnostics. The simple way to put it, every time there is a customer or partner take our automated solution without reaching it to us, it saves us time and money, and we take a percentage of that money, a portion of that money, and donate it to a selected set of NGOs or nonprofits, and Microsoft matches it. Not only this is a model that can expand and grow, but it's also a satisfying model both internally and for our customers, because our customers also feels the contribution that they are doing by the effort they're putting in by adopting those the automations. The other piece, and on quick note on that I would love to see Spreeha there on the list someday, as the mission of Spreeha of empowering and enabling people in health, education, and humanitarian activities are closely aligned to adopt technology for good. The second one is about skill development. This project of nurturing community is in diverse part of the world, and this is a Microsoft-wide effort. And I know that the Asian University of Women in Chittagong is part of this program.
Excellent. Yeah, some powerful, inspiring examples. So as a technology professional, where do you see this going? What do you see for the future of technology, in particular its application to social good?
I think only tech-powered nonprofit will sustain and expand in the future. It can only help enable faster and bring agility. There is no shortcoming. Nonprofits have never had more ways to gather information, discover what's working and what's not, and put those insights into practices. The growth of digital collaboration and productivity tools such as Microsoft Teams and Zoom, these are a sign of how quickly you can adapt and build the agility in an organization. The second piece I want to talk about, that AI for health. The AI for health, that is a $60 billion 5 years philanthropic program that Microsoft has, created to empower nonprofit researcher and organization tackling some of the toughest challenges in global health. We are providing access to AI and expertise in these areas. and many of the companies like Facebook and Google creating variety of tools and platform to help in these sectors. Therefore, technology is indispensable in these areas. Thank you, Ross.
Excellent. Thanks again, Shaquille, for that video, joining us virtually there. And I just wanted to kind of underscore a couple of things Shaquille said, and really in support and to highlight the work of Spreeha. First, that his comment that in the future, you know, the NGOs, the nonprofits that will be the most impactful, the most successful will be tech powered. And I think, you know, I know in my role, both on the board and at Microsoft, being able to bring these worlds together is really powerful. And so to expand on the two programs we talked about, and how specifically we will partner with Spreeha, our Diagnostics for Good effort, which is where IT administrators can help themselves find their own solutions. When they do, they don't have to call a support engineer, and that saves time, improves their experience, and saves money for Microsoft, of which we donate a portion to various nonprofits. And we're in progress to try and onboard Spreeha into that for October. And then the second one that we're doing with the going into underserved communities and training folks how to become a support engineer. We bring in about 120 hours of either instructor-led or self-paced training. This is with one of the first pilots was with the Asian University for Women. We had, I think, 13 out of 15 certifications in that first pilot. We also then have done one in inner city school near Dallas, and 6 of those students ended up getting hired as freelancers. And so we want to kick off a program, hopefully before the end of the calendar year, and do a pilot with Spreeha. So that's a little bit about sort of how we think about technology for good. There's so many different aspects of it, and I'm really proud to be a part of Spreeha, who brings technology to serve those in need. So thank you for having both Shaquille and I today, and best of luck on the journey.
Hey, Farah. I think
You
you're
have to
still on mute.
unmute yourself.
I'm so sorry. I'll go again. You know, when you have a virtual event, I think this had to happen at some point. Sorry about that, but I was saying that was a captivating talk, Ross. Thank you so much, and also Shakil for your time. I know we have a virtual audience today, so we cannot see people applauding, but I would say, hey, let's give a big round of applause to the speakers, Ross and, you know, Shakil, for their time today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, right? And now, like, in the essence of time, I would like to say a few more words, but in the essence of time, let's move forward. I do take a small pause here and thank our event sponsors one more time. So to mention, gold sponsor, Kamrun Mirza, real estate broker, Keller Williams. Our silver sponsor, Build Safer Project in Bangladesh by IOM. Bronze sponsors, Reaching New Heights, a documentary in production by Leila Kazmi. Valorate, providing home loans, and Tasveer, a social justice arts nonprofit. And on that note, a quick reminder again, please don't forget our big green donate button that's on the side of your screen. And now we are gonna take you to visit another story. And this is going to be a story that is tied to somewhat Yasin's story, but a little bit different. It's a story of Limon's life. And instead of me giving you any further hints, let's watch this for ourselves. And again, bear with me as I do like a tiny bit of technical transition here.
আমার আম্মু যখন কারোর সাথে কথা বলে যে আমার ছেলে ডাক্তার হইব, তখন তার চেহারাতে যে খুশিটা থাকে সেই খুশিটা দেখলেই আমার অনেক শান্তি লাগে। আমি মোহাম্মদ লিমন আলী, আমার গ্রামের বাড়ি চুয়াডাঙ্গা। আমি বর্তমানে রায়েরবাজার মোহাম্মদপুর ঢাকাতে থাকি। আমার আব্বু একজন দিনমজুর, আম্মু স্প্রিয়া হেলথ সেন্টারে চাকরি করে। আমার একটা ছোট ভাই আছে, সে এবার ক্লাস 8-এ। আমি এই বছর বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিব মেডিকেল কলেজ ফরিদপুর MBBS কোর্সে ভর্তি হয়েছি। আমার বই পড়তে অনেক ভালো লাগে।
আমার লিমন যখন SSC ফর্ম ফিল আপ করতে পারছি না, অনেক চিন্তায় ছিলাম, অনেক টেনশনে ছিলাম, অনেক ভাবছি যে আমি কই যাবো আর কই করবো। ফর্ম ফিল আপ না করতে পারলে তো আমার ছেলে হইলো ভর্তি হবে না। তখন আমার মনে হলো যে স্প্রে আমার পাশে আছে, স্প্রে আমার সব দিক দিয়ে দেখতে। এই সাহস করে আমি স্বপ্ন আবার ফেরা দেখতে শুরু করলাম।
আমার আম্মু প্রতিদিন সকালে ক্লিনিকে বের হয়ে যেত, আস্তে আস্তে রাত হয়ে যেত। এর মাঝেও আম্মু আমাদের অনেক খেয়াল রাখছে। আব্বু প্রতিদিন ভোরে বের হয়ে যেত, আসতো মাঝরাতে। এমনও দিন গেছে যে তার চেহারাটাও দেখতে পারতাম না। তাদের এই কষ্ট সবসময় আমাকে ভাবাতো যে তাদের জন্য কিছু একটা করতে হবে। স্প্রিয়া থেকে স্কলারশিপ পাওয়ার পর আমার জীবনটাই পাল্টে গেছে। শত কষ্টের মাঝেও সবার সাহস ও অনুপ্রেরণায় আমি আজ ভালো অবস্থানে পৌঁছাতে পেরেছি। আমি একজন ভালো ডাক্তার হয়ে আমার মতো মানুষদের সেবা করতে চাই।
All right. That was another very, very, very inspiring story. And I hope I'm not on mute this time. That was so wonderful, right? Such an inspiring life story, don't you think? I mean, again, the downside of a virtual event is I can't see my audience, so I don't know how you're reacting, but I hope everybody is as engaged as we are right now, right? I mean, do stay with us. There is time to bring more perspective into that story that you just heard. We are going to welcome Tazin Shadid. I think most of us know he's the founder of Spreeha Foundation. Tazin founded Spreeha in 2012 with a hope of empowering the underprivileged people and break the cycle of poverty. Before starting Spreeha, he founded and ran a healthcare program for 5 years that provides healthcare to people in urban slums. Outside of Spreeha, Tazin has been working for Microsoft in the user experience field for over 6 years. He left a very promising career in the USA about 5 years back to go back to Bangladesh and invest his full time in Spreeha. And we can all see the results. Currently, Tazin is also running a ton of other initiatives, and one of those key ones are Amar Lab, which is revolutionizing the way people views healthcare in Bangladesh. Let's say directly from this amazing individual, we have invited Limon's mother, and we have requested Adiba Nasser to moderate this part of the conversation. I would like to mention here that Adiba is a social activist and worked on many international NGOs and currently is working with Amazon. I'll hand this over to you, Adiba. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Farnaz, and welcome you all on behalf of me to Spreeha Journey of Hope 2021 virtual event for the second time. This is the second year we're going virtual instead of in person, and we miss all of you seeing in person, sharing the energy. But thank you so much for joining us here in the virtual platform. It means a lot to us to have you on our side. I would like to introduce you with our beneficiary later, but let's first hear it from Tazin Shadid.
Right, thank you, Adiba. Thank you everyone for joining. This is indeed a very, very special year for us as Spreeha. As Farnaz mentioned, like we started in 2012. Actually, the work to establish Spreeha started in 2011. So it's 10th year for Spreeha. And I still remember going to our founding chair, May Leong, during a leadership course we were doing together, and pitched her the idea of starting a new nonprofit and asking her to be the chair, and she agreed, and that's how we started. And the other reason this fundraiser is special today, I'm actually visiting US after 5 years. Exactly 5 years ago, 2016, September was my last time I was here. And as Parnas mentioned, I moved back to Bangladesh after that permanently. And last week, I was able to visit Seattle. In this 5 years, I haven't had a chance, and I went there, and I was able to meet our volunteers, our donors, our partners. And what was very satisfying and I was very grateful for was that the Spreeha team, the volunteers, and the Spreeha team over there organized a meet and greet at the park. And over there, I met people who were supporting Spreeha, not just as Spreeha, even before Spreeha was born, as we heard about the healthcare clinic in Bangladesh in 2007 that we started. Farah Apa, Ferdoz Bhai, Simi Apa, Saiful Bhai, Saba Apa, Nipa Apa, they all were working at Microsoft, and they actually sold some Bangladeshi food to raise fund for that clinic. And then they also donated, and that's 2007, so it's 15 years now. So they're all together, we are all together. So this was a good time for me to also look back at the last 5 years since I came back, and it's been 5 years. What did we do in this 5 years? This year is actually extremely, super significant for us. Together with Spreeha US and Spreeha Bangladesh, we have reached the mark of 500,000 people, serving 500,000 people between these two organizations. And that is no small feat. And I know many organizations, just a number. For us, it's just not number, because we do a lot of work with the community. We provide healthcare, we provide education, we provide skills training, we create economic opportunities. So doing that for 500,000 people, that is a big achievement. And that happened because of all of you, that small, selling food in 2007 to establishing Spreeha in 2011. And then in 2013, doing our first public fundraiser, where I met many of you who are now running Spreeha, who are now volunteering for Spreeha. And I see them here today, Shams Bhai, Unazapu, Parnaz, others, and then later Adiba joined. So all of them, and then the board members. So it's been an amazing journey to reach that 500,000 mark. And what is especially very difficult and challenging and a big achievement was the last 2 years during the pandemic, because we changed, as you have heard earlier in the program, like how for healthcare we had to, during the lockdown, we had to create special procedures to provide healthcare, where even regular clinics were closed. Our social workers, our health workers are going door to door, checking on every single pregnant mother and making sure they are taking their medicines right, they are healthy, and bringing them to the doctors when needed. Our teachers started going door to door to provide school, which is not available even for the fancy schools in Bangladesh, except for 10, 12 schools who provide online education. Most schools in Bangladesh, including private and public schools, are closed. They have not seen their teachers. They have not seen their classmates in 2 years. Whereas at Spreeha, our teachers took it upon themselves to make sure they don't stop their education. They started going door to door. So this thing that we have created, those of you who are joining today, it has turned into a movement. So this 500,000 people, helping them is not just that you are donating, you are actually changing lives. And at the same time, you have started a movement that has created not just one, but two organizations, Spreeha US, Spreeha Bangladesh. And it has grown also even in Bangladesh, working at 19 districts. In US now we have Seattle chapter, we have Dallas chapter, we have Boston chapter. And what you have done is not just inspire the people we work for and the staff, but you have also inspired local communities in Bangladesh. We have a local corporation called Confidence Group who have committed $100,000 to provide nutrition support in Bangladesh. So these things were not available 5 years ago. So again, like, together we are growing. And then we have recently have someone who committed to donate their land along with building a hospital with us, a 25-bed hospitals. So these are just kind of like, acknowledgement of the work we have been doing and the support you have been providing us. So all together, this momentum has been incredible. And we have reached 500,000. And in the next 5 years, we will reach not 1 million, but surpass that. We will do many, many, many more. And we will do it together. And that's the most important thing. We will do it together with all of you, our amazing volunteers, our partners, our field staff, organizations here, over there in Bangladesh. And we will go beyond Bangladesh. That's the other thing. Like at Spreeha, we always wanted to build an organization that will provide healthcare, education, and skills training and create economic opportunities to underserved communities. And we will create doing that. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for joining today. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being part of this movement and surpassing and helping more than 500,000 people. Thank you. Over to you, Adiba.
Thank you so much. You're always very inspiring, and it's not easy to live your life here and then go to Bangladesh to serve the community, and we're very inspired from that. Today we have a beneficiary joining from us directly from Dhaka, Bangladesh. I would like to welcome her, but let me quickly tell you here that this is the session where I will be going back and forth in Bangla and English. Our beneficiary here today will be answering some of our questions because we're so excited and curious to know a lot from them. I will be asking her questions in Bangla and she will be answering, and I will try to translate that to English for all who are here. So please bear with me. মোমেন আপা, আমাকে কি শোনা যাচ্ছে? জি। আমার নাম আদিবা। কেমন আছেন?
আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ভালো আছি, আমার ফ্যামিলি সবাই ভালো আছে। আপনারা কেমন আছেন?
আমরা ভালো আছি। আপনাকে পেয়ে আমরা আজকে আসলে খুবই আনন্দিত। To everybody, I was just asking how is she doing, and she is saying she and her family is doing great, and she's very excited to be here and seeing all of us. মোমেন আপা, আপনি আপনার নামটা আমাদেরকে একটু বলেন, পুরা নাম, আপনার পরিবারে কে কে আছে এই মুহূর্তে, আর আপনি এই মুহূর্তে কি কাজ করেন এটা একটু আমাদেরকে বলেন।
আমার নাম হলো মোহাম্মদ মোমেনা খাতুন। আমার পরিবারে আমার দুটো বাচ্চা আর আমার স্বামী স্ত্রী দুইজন, 4 জন মোট। আমি স্পেয়ার বাংলাদেশ ফাউন্ডেশনে হেলথ সেন্টারে চাকরি করি।
Acha. So I asked her what's her full name, what she's doing right now, and who she has in her family. So her full name is Momena. I forgot. Apa, apnar full name ki? Pura naam?
মোহাম্মদ মোমেনা খাতুন।
মোসাম্মদ মোমেনা খাতুন। আপার স্বামী এবং আরো দুটি সন্তান আছে এই মুহূর্তে পরিবারে। আর আপা এই মুহূর্তে she is working in the Spreeha Health Center right now and lives with her husband and 2 sons. আপা, আপনার ছেলে লিমনকে নিয়ে আমরা সবাই জানি। কিছুক্ষণ আগে আমরা লিমনের একটা ভিডিও দেখলাম। লিমন এই মুহূর্তে বঙ্গবন্ধু মেডিকেল কলেজ ফরিদপুরে পড়ছে। তো লিমনের ছোটবেলাটা কেমন ছিল আমাদেরকে একটু বলেন। ও স্কুল কলেজ কোথায় করলো, ও কেমন ছাত্র ছিল?
ও ছোটবেলায় বয়স হলে স্কুলে যাওয়ার অনেক করতো, আমি স্কুলে যাবো। আমাদের বাচ্চারা সবাই স্কুলে যাইতো, ও কান্নাকাটি করতো। আমি একদিকে স্কুলে গেলাম, যাই আমি বললাম যে আমার ছেলে ভর্তি করে আমার বাচ্চাটা। তো মাস্টার বয়স হয়নি, তো হইলো ভর্তি করা যাবে না। আমি বলছি স্যার দেখে তো অনেক কান্নাকাটি করে বাসায়, মানে সবাই আসে স্কুলে, ও যাওয়ার জন্য খুব কান্নাকাটি করে। একটা স্যার দিলেও করা যাবে না, আর একটা স্যার দিতে করো, মানে যেমনি আসা যাওয়া করো স্কুলে। তো ওই আসা যাওয়া করতে ওর পড়াশোনার দিক দিয়ে স্যারে মানে যে পড়া পাইতো অন্য বাচ্চাদের দিয়ে উর্দি অন্য বাচ্চাদের কান মলাইতো যে ও পারে, তোমরা পারো না কেন? তো তোমার থেকে তো বয়স কম, ছোট বাচ্চা। তা বাসায় এসে যখন অন্য বাচ্চারা বইতো, আমি সেরকম বলতাম যে তুমি যে বাচ্চাদের কান ধরে মলো, তোমার তো বাচ্চারা তোমার মারবে।
বলে আমার স্যারে বলে, তা আমি কি করবো এখন? বাচ্চাদের কান ধর্ম আমার খুব পছন্দ করতো পড়াশোনা নিয়ে।
কি ঢাকায়?
না, গ্রামে।
গ্রাম।
স্কুল
আচ্ছা,
স্কুল
তারপর
অনেক দূর।
আপনারা ঢাকায় আসেন কবে?
আমি ঢাকায় আইছি লিমনের নিয়ে এনে 3তে ভর্তি করেছি, ক্লাস 3তে ভর্তি করেছি ওর নিয়ে এনে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, তো আমি একটু ও সবাইকে বলি আপনি কি বলছেন। So I asked her to tell us a little bit about Limon's childhood. So Limon is her elder son, whom we just learned about from the video we watched. He's going to medical school right now, and he's going to actually one of the most prestigious medical schools in Bangladesh. So I asked Limon's mother, who's here with us tonight, that how was Limon's childhood? How was he as a kid? And where he started his school from. So she's explaining that Limon was very enthusiastic to go to school when he was very young, and he wasn't even at the age to go to school. But he always wanted to go to school. He was a very learning enthusiast. So her Momina here had to go to school. They were in the village at that time, had to go to a school and request the teachers that, can you please take my son and admit him to your class, because he's very eager to learn and come to school. The teachers were not ready, they were indecisive, but at the end they agreed to have Limon as their student. And then later they realized Limon was the most brightest student in the class, and he was more talented than any other older boys or girls in the class. And Limon was set as an example for the other students that, look, he's so young but yet doing so good and better than you guys, and you should learn from him. That's what she was explaining. ডাক্তারি পড়ছে, আপনি কি চান ও ভবিষ্যতে কিসের ডাক্তার হোক? হাড়ির ডাক্তার, দাঁতের ডাক্তার, কিসের ডাক্তার হোক? আপনার কি কোনো ইচ্ছা আছে এরকম?
আমার ইচ্ছা আছে যে ও অপারেশনের ডাক্তার হোক, বড় ডাক্তার,
যে অপারেশন করতে পারে,
অপারেশন করতে পারে, যাতে মানুষ টাকা বিক্রি ধরে যাওয়া, অনেক অসহায় মানুষ আছে, গরিব মানুষ আছে, তারা টাকার জন্য অপারেশন করতে পারে না, সেগুলা যাতে ও হয়ে মানুষের যাতে পাশে থাকে।
খুবই ভালো, কারণ অপারেশন যারা করে এই কাজটা আসলে সবচেয়ে কঠিন। ডাক্তারদের মধ্যে যত কাজ, তার মধ্যে সবচেয়ে কঠিন কাজ হচ্ছে মানুষকে সার্জারি করা। তো লিমন যেহেতু অনেক ভালো ছাত্র, ও নিশ্চয়ই পারবে। তো আমি সবাইকে একটু ইংরেজিতে বলি। So I actually asked her that what type of a doctor you wish Limon to become. Do you want him to become heart specialist? What the specialization you want him to be? And she was saying that she wants Limon to become a surgeon who could do surgeries on poor people who cannot bear the cost to do surgeries. And that's so cool. Limon is so talented and brilliant. I'm sure he would be able to do that one day. Mominapa, এক সময় লিমন তো ইচ্ছে ঘুড়ি প্রজেক্টের অংশ ছিল, আর স্পৃহা চেষ্টা করেছে যে লিমনের ইচ্ছে ঘুড়ির যে ইচ্ছা ছিল যে ও একদিন ডাক্তার হবে, সেই ইচ্ছাটা পূরণ করার। তো আপনার থেকে আমি একটু শুনবো যে আপনার তো একটা স্বপ্ন পূরণ হলো ছেলেকে নিয়ে এত বড়, তো স্পৃহার প্রতি আপনার আপনি কি মনে করেন স্পৃহা এখানে কতটা সাহায্য করেছে?
আমার অনেক সাহায্য করেছে। স্পৃহাদের পাশে না থাকতো আমি হয়তো স্বপ্ন দেখবো, হয়তো আগাতে পারতাম না। স্পৃহা যখন আমার পাশে ছিল তখন আমি স্বপ্নটা আরো ভালো করে দেখে, স্পৃহা আমার অনেক সাহায্য করেছে। আরো বেশি তাজিন স্যার, জাহিদ স্যার, এরা মানে আমার ছেলের অনেক ভালোবাসতো, অনেক ইয়ে করতো। তারপরেও আমি আমার ছেলেকে বলতাম, লিমনকে, যে তাজিন স্যার, জাহিদ স্যার তোমাকে ভালো করে পড়াশোনা করতে বলেছে, আর তুমি ভালো করে পড়াশোনা করো, ভালো রেজাল্ট করো, এমন করে তাজিন স্যার, জাহিদ স্যার যখন বুঝতাম, আমার ছেলেদের ওইভাবেই আমি বুঝাতাম। স্পৃহা আমার অনেক সাহায্য করেছে।
আপনি কি কখনো কল্পনা করছিলেন যে ও একদিন ডাক্তারই হয়ে যাবে? মানে হয়তো পড়াশোনা করবে কিন্তু ডাক্তার হয়ে যাবে, এটা কি আপনি কল্পনা করছিলেন?
কল্পনা করে মানুষের স্বপ্ন থাকে, হয়তো আমার স্বপ্ন ছিল কিন্তু আমি বাস্তব মনে করে এলাম না যে হবে। কিন্তু যখন স্পৃহা পাশে ছিল তখন আমি মনে করলাম যে মনে হয় ছেলে যেরকম পড়াশোনা করছে, আবার এর মধ্যে আমি অনেক নেশা করে তাদের ভিতর থেকে আমি ছেলে মানুষ করেছি।
এটা একটা দারুণ
স্বপ্ন থাকেও স্বপ্ন আবার হয়ে যেত যে এর ভিতরে থেকে আমি ছেলে মানুষ করবো আর বাকিটা আল্লাহ।
আমি একটু বলি সবাইকে আপনি কি বললেন। So I actually asked her a couple of questions. First of all, I asked her that Limon was once upon a time student of Spreeha Icheguri project. This project is basically where we bring all the kids together and ask them or give them a project to showcase what they want to become when they grow up, or just in general, what is their wish or what do they dream. And during that project, Liman actually mentioned that he wanted to become a doctor. And I asked Momena that did she ever believe that even if Limon is a great student, he was doing good in school or college, he would actually become a doctor someday. Did she dare to dream that? And what she answered is she did. Because when she mentioned Tazeen and Zahid's name multiple times, who kept inspiring Limon to do better day by day. And Momena was explaining that it was very hard for her to raise a child in a community where the other kids, the other young boys and girls were substance abused and addicted to drugs. And he kept pushing Limon to get inspirations from Tazeen and Zahid, who were leaders at Spreeha, and follow them to become a leader someday, to do good in his studies and become a doctor. Momena আপা, আপনার কাছে আবার আসি। আপনার তো আরেক ছেলে আছে, আপনার ছোট ছেলে, ওর নাম বলেন আর ও এই মুহূর্তে কি করছে, ওকে নিয়ে কিছু বলেন, ওকে নিয়ে আপনার কি ইচ্ছা?
আমার ছোট ছেলের বয়স 13 বছর।
কত বছর?
13 বছর।
আচ্ছা।
নাম হলো মুস্তাফিজুর রহমান, ওর ক্লাস 8 পড়ে।
আচ্ছা।
স্বপ্ন ওর যখন আমার বড় ছেলে ডাক্তার হইলো, ও এখন আমার বলছে আম্মু ভাইয়া তো ডাক্তার হইলো, আমি এখন সেনাবাহিনীর অফিসার হব। সেনাবাহিনীর অফিসার, আর্মিদের অফিসার হব।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
আমি এখন বলছি যে তুমি চেষ্টা করবা, আর আমার স্বপ্ন আমি তোমার পাশে থেকে তোমার আমি ইয়ে করবো। তারপরে তো ভাইয়া যখন ডাক্তার হইলি, স্প্রেয়া তো পাশে ছিল, তোমার পাশেও আর আমি স্প্রেয়া থাকতে তুমি চেষ্টা করো। তো ইচ্ছা সেনাবাহিনীর অফিসার হওয়া, আমারও ইচ্ছা যে আল্লাহ যেন সেনাবাহিনীর অফিসারই বানায়।
আচ্ছা, সবাইকে বলি আপনার ইচ্ছাটা। আমি আমি খুবই আপনার সাথে সহমত পোষণ করছি যে অবশ্যই ও একদিন বড় হয়ে সেনাবাহিনীর অফিসার হবে, ও স্বপ্ন পূরণ হবে। তো আমি সবাইকে একটু বলি। So I asked Momena, she has another son, younger to Limon. His name is Mustafizur Rahman. He's 13 years old right now and going to 8th grade school. And I asked Momena what he wants to become in life. His elder brother is now going to med school, and what is his inspiration. And Mustafizur wants to serve the Bangladesh the government by becoming a army in the defense system. That's what is his dream, and he wants to become something in life like his big brother. And Momena here is explaining that now that Spreeha is with her, she feels that Spreeha is a great support to fulfill her dreams. Seeing Limon, he now can tell Mustafizur that you go on, you carry on being a good student, do your study, and me and Spreeha will support you as much as we can. This is a very common thing. We even saw this last year when I was talking to Shabnaz, that after working with Spreeha or getting the support from Spreeha, they dared to dream. And I feel like that's a very strong thing Spreeha has been enabling and empowering people to do. Like they come from a background where they do not have the resources, but they have the dare to dream. And I want to give a big kudos to Spreeha Bangladesh team for empowering all these beneficiaries to do that. আচ্ছা মোমেন আপা, আপনার কাছে আরেকবার আসি এবং আমি এই শেষ প্রশ্ন আপনার কাছে আমি ছোট করে জিজ্ঞেস করব যে এই মুহূর্তে আপনি ঢাকা থেকে আমাদেরকে দেখছেন, ঢাকায় অনেক সকাল, আমরা আছি আমেরিকাতে, আমাদের এখানে রাত, আপনাকে বিশ্বের আরো অনেক জায়গা থেকে আমরা অনেকে দেখছি এখন। তো আমাদের সবাইকে আপনি আপনার একটা কিছু আমাদেরকে যদি আপনি বলতে চান তাহলে আপনি বলতে পারেন। আর আমার তরফ থেকে আপনাকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ এতক্ষণ আমাদের সাথে থাকার জন্য, আর লিমনের জন্য অনেক অনেক শুভকামনা।
আপনারা সবাই যাতে দোয়া করেন আমার ছেলে ভালো ডাক্তার হয়ে বড় ডাক্তার হয়ে বেড়ায়, এই যে আমি চাই যে সবাই যেন আপনারা সবাই দোয়া করেন। আর আমার ছেলের মতন যারা স্পেয়ার পাশে আছে আরো 10টা ছেলের যেন স্পেয়ার পাশে থাকে, স্কলারশিপ দিতেন, আরো 10টা ছেলে ডাক্তার বানিয়ে আরো মানুষকে সেবা দিতে পারেন।
ধন্যবাদ মোমেন আপা. So I asked her the last comment if she has any to share with all our viewers, donors, supporters here, and she's saying that she seeks all of your good wishes and prayers for her son Limon to become a successful doctor in the future, and she also wants your support to make more Limons and give more scholarships to more talented people who can thrive and become a great talent for the community in future. Thank you so much. That will be all from me. Momen appa apnake thank you. Bangladesh team apnader shobaike onek dhonnobad. I will be now giving the session back to Farhanaz, signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adiba, Tazin, and then Limon's mom. Thank you so much. You know, when you hear such stories, you just can't help but think what the contribution that might seem not very significant to you, how significant it is to someone else's life, right? And this scholarship program that we started, it just changed somebody's life, right? So, you know, that's another way. If you want to get involved with Spreeha and partner with us, definitely, you know, if you're looking to do something a little different and not just donate, but here you can actually sponsor and provide scholarship to, you know, people like Limon and change their lives. Now, and you know, thank you so much again, all of you here. I hope all of you loved this conversation as much as I did. You know, such encouraging stories, such powerful stories. Thank you, Adiba, again. Of course, Tazin and Limon's mom, Mosammat Momena Khatun, thank you so much for attending today. Now, adding more encouragement to that, I want to request Firdaus Oneza, CEO of Spreeha Foundation, to take the virtual stage and share a few words with us. Oneza has been a strategic leader in this industry for 20 plus years. She brings in experience in leadership, strategic planning, and team development. She guided the development of the first Spreeha chapter in Seattle and served as chapter president. She also served as director of strategy and volunteered at Spreeha from the beginning of its journey. Oneza is also a community planner and founded the Seattle-based planning consulting firm, Oneza and Associates, that serves communities in the Washington state. She worked in both public and private planning agencies where she led teams in developing plans and strategies. Oneza led the formation of the Columbia section of American Planning Association's Washington chapter. She won the prestigious Robert Burke Award from the American Planning Association, Washington chapter for her service. Oneza deeply believes that helping others is a deep-rooted instinct in humankind that empowers us all, those who need and those who give help. Welcome, Firdaus Oneza.
Thank you, Farhanaz, for the nice intro. I just want to begin by saying that the story that you have heard about Limon, that is the story of the scholarship that Spreeha has given. It's Shams and Nasrin Scholarship. I just wanted to point that out. So we really wanted to have you all in person tonight. I wanted to see you in person, but we couldn't do that because of the pandemic. The fact that we couldn't put you in a big ballroom like any other years, and we couldn't force you to listen to us, and you are still here tonight with us, that tells me about your kindness. So thank you for joining tonight. I was in Bangladesh in June when pandemic was on the rise. I was talking to this woman. She was working at 2 jobs at that time before the pandemic. One was in the hotel industry and the other one is in the retail. It was hard work. She was struggling to survive, but she was happy that she had jobs. But after the pandemic hit, her hotel industry job was eliminated. And we know that the tourism industry took the big hit all over the world. And in the retail job, she was part-time. Her husband lost his job. So she told me that the family was living in $100 a month. That is a little over $3 a day. You would ask, how would somebody or a family could live in $3 a day? The answer is, it's not possible. It's very difficult. And that's what we are seeing all around the world. Last year, when I told you the United Nations estimate, that number was 71 million people that UN expected to fall under poverty. 1.5 years in the pandemic, that number is even higher. 120 million people have fallen into extreme poverty, and UN is estimating this number to go up. In our community alone, 70% of our community members have lost their jobs. We are seeing the increase of acute malnutrition among children, 18% more. We are seeing young girls being married off. Early marriage is on the rise. Well, these are not the stories that I wanted to tell you tonight. But I wanted to be true, and I wanted to give you a true picture of the challenges that we have been facing. We realized at that point that we had to be adaptive and we had to be resilient. You have heard from Tazeen already that how we innovated on the ground. We worked with technology. You heard from our speakers. We took extreme precaution at our healthcare centers to build that trust among the community members to serve them. We brought education, schools to home, so our kids continue their learning. Not only that, during this difficult time, we expanded in the remote areas with our telehealth services. We reached out to remote communities with our youth club programs. Those of you who have been with the Spreeha's journey from the very beginning, like Tazeen mentioned, 2011 and 2012, around that time, we started serving 500 people in the Raya Bazaar community. I'm so proud to tell you that last year alone, we had served 77,000 people. We have 15 remote schools where we are building future leaders. These are not just numbers, these are futures. And how we became adaptive, we have telehealth, we started the emergency relief program during the pandemic. We had reached out in many different ways. Of course, we couldn't do all of this without your support. So thank you for staying on this journey with us. During this time, we expanded and we built capacity. But in order to maintain those services, we need to maintain our capacity. You have heard from our Bangladesh team, we have a robust, energetic team on the ground in Bangladesh. And we have a very dedicated chapters, team members here in Seattle, in Dallas, and in Boston. So thank you all for your work. We wouldn't have been here without you. And of course, our donors. I would like to mention that we are at a juncture right now at Spreeha. As you have heard, that we have scaled up, but we need to be prepared for the post-COVID era. What does that mean? We are already seeing the youth are dropping out of school, the discontinuation of education. Schools are being closed in Bangladesh. Families are falling into poverty. We are losing young girls. They are becoming the victim of early marriage. Now is the time to bring them back and put them on the track again. Now is the time that we seize the future. We have a lot to work on. We are working hard. I believe that empowerment can come in many shape and form. Be it through healthcare, be it through technology, education, a little bit of push to that person just to tell that, hey, you can do it. Instilling that belief that they can do it, that's important. Dream can go a long way. We have heard that from Tazeen, and we have heard that from Limon's story, and especially Limon's mom, how she dreamt. And then also we have seen in the past from Shabnaz and Afsana, these girls who had graduated from university who were in our community. So they are breaking the cycle of poverty. So what we hope to tell you is we want to tell you many more stories from all across Bangladesh and from all around the globe that we are succeeding. I really thank you for giving us that empowerment and helping us and believing Spreeha's dream. Thank you so much. Now, I am going to introduce a very dear person of mine. You know him, Khaja Shamsuddin. So Shams and Nasrin, they are the inspirations behind Spreeha. And Shams doesn't like a big intro, but I'm gonna tell anyway that he is a community leader and a philanthropist at heart. He's a Governor Award winner, and he retired as a senior VP at the Bank of America. So if he tells us that giving is the best investment, can we really deny it? Thank you, Shams.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be and blessings be upon all of you. And good evening from Seattle, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. Many of you have seen or heard me in this or a different forum, and I thank you and all the others who are joining us here today. We are here this evening to raise money for Spreeha, an organization that my wife Nasreen and I joined several years ago. I will not dwell on Spreeha, as many voices here have already done that in great detail. A couple of months ago, I was reading a book and I had the TV tuned on to a baseball game. Only half my mind was in the game when I heard the commentator say that the pitcher had thrown a curveball to the batter and the batter had struck out. And then he said the pitcher had thrown another curveball, but the batter, the next batter, hit it out of the park for a home run. I kept thinking about that. Mind kept coming back to that phrase long after the game was over. Curveball. Life throws out curveballs to us. And some of us are fortunate enough, through no credit to ourselves, to be able to deal with it, while others, through no fault of their own, strike out. Which brings me to the children and families of Rayar Bajar, and who Spreeha has chosen as their own. These children and families have been dealt a really raw hand. A curveball, a monster curveball, for years, and most of them have been striking out. Then Spreeha came knocking on their door, and with their help, those curves started straightening out a little. Hope ball took over from curveball, and slowly but surely, the skies over the head started to turn blue. Who are these families? I'm talking about families in this slum who work in the sunshine but live in the shadows. I call them the plexiglass people. Most of us see them without really seeing them. Families who have no hope, no education, no jobs, no place to belong to, and grow up safely. Yet these families are no different than our own families. What makes them different? An accident of birth. These families, and there are thousands of them, were dealt a raw hand in the lottery of life. But honestly, sitting here, I know that we, all of you and I, have won this lottery of life that I'm talking about. You and I were born with the opportunity for education and the freedom to follow our dreams. We are lucky to have what we have, and most of us will never realize that we already won the lottery of life. Our ability to choose what we eat, how we dress, what we buy, what career we want, where we live, and most importantly, what choices we can make for our children, means just by being born where we were born, we have more opportunities and options than most people in the world will ever know. That is what I call the lottery of life, all by an accident of birth. But let me let you in on a secret about this lottery. It can be rigged. That's right. What most people don't realize is we have a chance to tip the scales, to make a difference and help others too. That is why I'm talking to you today, and why all of you are part of this broadcast. Because all of us together right now can help give a golden ticket of hope, education, empowerment to someone halfway around the world. These children and families are no different to your children and my children, except for an accident of birth. Imagine, if you will, for one moment, that today we are raising funds for our children, your children, my children, for your family and mine. What would you be doing now? You would be breaking down the doors to give money to the cause. Fundraising targets would be thrown out the window. We would give every last cent that we had. We might even think of borrowing to pay for our children and families. You know, there is a saying that if a person plants a tree, knowing that he or she will never sit under its shade, then you know that civilization has come to that land. Today is your chance to plant a tree for which there is no benefit to you, but you could change a life. Let me share a true story with you. A few years ago, my wife and I were transiting through Denver Airport here in the US. As we were walking on the passageway to go to a different airline, we passed a young woman who was standing there and looking at a billboard. We would have passed her by, but I noticed that she was crying. We stopped and looked at the billboard. And we were surprised to see her picture on the billboard. And the billboard said, "From homeless to Harvard." That was her story. From homeless, she had graduated from Harvard. So I asked her why she was crying. And she said she had not seen the billboard. She was seeing it for the first time and got emotional. Then she asked if we would take her picture so she could send it to her parents. Of course, we did. We chatted with her a few more minutes and we moved on. Why did I think of this story? Because at Spreeha, we are doing the same thing. You have heard the story of Limon. He has a chance, thanks to all of you, to be a doctor. Can you see a billboard saying, "From slum to doctor"? And you would have done it. This is an amazing thing that Spreeha is doing. Spreeha is taking people from the depths of poverty and giving them a chance in life. But what happens? Sometimes we feel that the poverty and problems are overwhelming and our contributions won't make a difference. Many people have told me that, God, the problem is too big. Let me share a story with you. A young man was walking on a beach. The night before, there had been a terrible storm, and millions of starfish had been washed onto the shore. And as the young man was walking, he looked up and he saw an older person walking on from the other side of the beach. And this older person would bend down, pick up a starfish, and throw it back in the ocean. Well, the young man finally reached him and said, "Excuse me, do you know how many starfish are on the beach? Do you think you can make a difference?" The older person didn't answer him. He bent down, he picked up a starfish, threw it back into the water and said, "Made a difference to him, didn't I?" That's what I'm trying to tell you. Make a difference in one life. You know, when God blesses us financially, we should not try to be raising our standard of living. We should be raising our standard of giving. Sometimes we feel that the problems of the poor are so big that our contribution has no impact. That's not true. There is a story of a man who was out in the forest one day. As he was trying to light a fire to cook his lunch, his clothes caught on fire and it engulfed him. He started rolling in the ground, trying to put it out. A crow and a sparrow were sitting on a branch on the tree. As soon as the sparrow saw what was happening, he flew off to a nearby lake, picked up water on its beak, and came back and dropped it on the man. He kept doing this constantly. Unfortunately, the man died. The sparrow, very tired, went back and sat on the branch, and the crow started laughing at him. He said, "Did you really think you could help him?" And the sparrow said, when our Creator talks to me, he won't ask me if I saved his life. He will ask me if I did my part. That's what I'm asking you to do today, to do your part. It is so important that we all do our part to change a life. It has been an honor to speak to you today. Now I want you to listen to my friend Zaki Rahman. who will ask you to do your part. Zaki Rahman has been part of Spreeha right from the beginning. He specializes in working behind the scenes, and he really has been a mentor to many of us. He is in every aspect of Spreeha. He works for Microsoft, and so he's always there to encourage, to say a few words, and always helping out when you need it. Please welcome my friend Zaki Rahman.
Thank you so much, Shamsbhai, for the very kind introduction. I guess it's time for me to come from behind the screen to front of the screen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. Let's rig that lottery of birth that Shamsbhai mentioned a little bit earlier and turn those curveballs into hope balls, because we now embark on the fundraising segment of the evening, which is the highlight of the gala, right? So one thing I wanted to mention first is that, as a donor myself, I honestly think this is the most exciting part of the evening, because this is actually all about us. With the pandemic, we got robbed of a very basic human concept, face-to-face interaction, where we'd engage in dynamic conversation, point fingers at each other, enunciate, clap our hands laughing. It is so hard to do all of this remotely over a webinar, nevertheless. So you can imagine what the situation for those less fortunate are. Like Oneza mentioned, people who work in the hospitality industry or many other service industry, where you have to be there for your work, and a lot of that work has been paused as we fight through the pandemic. But the human nature is such that we always overcome our challenges to serve the purpose as we should. So Spreeha adapted to a new model with emergency relief programs, awareness campaigns, door-to-door services, and bringing schools to home. We heard from Tazina and Oneza about our amazing beneficiaries and what they overcame to pursue their dreams and contribution to the world. We heard about our amazing doctors, teachers, and social workers who work very hard every day to get things done. And this is what they got done. Over 76,000 lives impacted in 2020, over 1,200 in healthcare, 1,500 students and community members in education and awareness, 29,000 people in COVID response, over 14,000 for COVID and other healthcare outreach. And our amazing Progga leadership program had 314 adolescent girls and teachers, and over 19,000 people in our Rohingya community. There are no words to describe their courage and passion. But you, ladies and gentlemen, are the other big piece of the puzzle. And now it's time to focus on you. So shall we? So the first thing I wanted to do is talk about a different partnership between two donors in New York and Spreeha Bangladesh. Now, just to make it clear that their donation didn't come through our chapter or through the Journey of Hope program, but I wanted to kind of highlight what they have done. So their family suffered quite a bit in Bangladesh because they didn't have a hospital nearby. So this very generous couple, both of them who are physicians by trade, decided to do something about that. They decided to build a hospital. They already purchased the land for the hospital and pledged to give the entire expense to build it all up, which can actually be almost $1 million US. This 25-bed hospital will be built in Rupganj in Naranganj, right outside Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. The facility will boast open lobbies, doctor's chambers, emergency rooms, ERs, IPD services, even residential facilities for staff and doctors. And the best part about it is there'll be a green court at the heart of the complex. And all of this will be built and operated by Spreeha. It will serve to the various smaller healthcare facilities in the region that can feed into it when the smaller ones have exhausted all their options. Now, you may know or you may not know this generous couple, nor did they donate through our Journey of Hope program. But please take a moment to let the impact sink in. This hospital can serve millions of patients in its lifetime, take care of complicated procedures, ensure safe births and natal care, educate, vaccinate, all because of a couple who felt their hard-earned money will be better served if donated for the greater good. Now, $1 million, that's actually a lot of money. You can almost buy a house in Seattle with that these days. But think about that for a second time. What you have done. Spreeha raised almost $300,000 last year alone. Ever since we went big in 2014, we have been raising about 200,000 to 300,000 every year, all donated by you. So even though $1 million seems like a lot of money, if we all wanted to build a hospital just like this one, we could actually do it in a couple of years. But just to be clear, I'm not asking for projects like that today. Everything that you donate will go into our amazing programs that Oneza and Tazin and everybody and others talked about. And we will keep on building an amazing society that can help empower their own dreams and go out of poverty. So now let's get down to business. Can I ask for a couple of $1 million, couple of $1 million pledges? No? Okay, all right. But I think we're still gonna go big, very big. I can already sense it actually. So I'm going to start actually talk about a big number, $10,000. It may seem daunting and the amount may seem too big. And it is a big amount. I'm not gonna kid myself. $10,000 is a lot of money, but look at what it can do. It can provide educational support for 120 students for an entire year. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn." We saw the story of Yasin earlier in the evening, a fifth grader and balloon seller. And like Farah mentioned, it actually choked me up a little bit when I saw the video for the first time, because we have certain luxuries in our life that we could, overcome the challenges of the pandemic, do work from home, learn from home. School went on pretty much normally. Obviously, we couldn't go out, but it did not change our future, our child's future too much. But for students like Yasin, the pandemic meant a big deal. It could have changed what he was doing at that moment. He was going to school, he was learning. The pandemic could have just changed his entire trajectory. But with your help and the contribution that you made, he was able to stay in school and continue on. He can actually be like Limon Ali, the other video that we saw, who received the Shams and Nasreen Scholarship and going to a leading medical college in Bangladesh. For many of us here tonight, 10,000 does not even have to be that much. If your company matches, and a lot of the big companies do, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, to name a few, it's only half of that. And if you're matching, putting aside less than $14 a day is all you need to provide education for 120 students. This too at slums where the need is very desperate. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess I did not move forward with the slides, but if you're in the if you're in Journey of Spreeha.org Journey of Hope 2021 website, you will see a donate button, green button on the top right hand corner. And if you're doing a pledge instead, it's towards the below the video. You'll see a pledge button. You can always pledge now and donate and match later on. So next up is 7,500. So what that can do. That can provide maternal care for 75 mothers and 75 newborns. And that's actually an easy number to remember, right? 75,000 or 7,500, 75 mothers, 75 newborns. And once again, for many of us, many of you here tonight, it could only mean about $300 a month if you have matching. And who here doesn't want to change the fate of the 75 newborns for just $300 a month? Before moving on, I did want to touch base on Shamsin Nasreen Scholarship. As we talked about before, and we touched before, that's a very generous scholarship fund started by our very own Shams Bhai and Nasreen Appa and their friends. And that continues to educate so many people in Bangladesh every year. If you want to donate to that, to Shamsin Nasreen Scholarship, you can actually just follow the same pointers and just make a note that you would like to donate to that one. So next up, we are talking about $5,000. That's just $11 a day. Or if you have matching, that's $6.50 to provide primary care for 1,000 patients. 1,000 patients. That's $6.50. That's actually the cost of one single scoop of ice cream at Molly Moon's. And with that amount, you can actually change the fate of 1,000 patients. But I'm actually not suggesting that you give up ice cream to do so. I'm sure you can do both. So next up for our donation amount is $4,000. You can provide computer trainings for 40 youth for 1 year. You can bring the power of computer to them. So renowned computer scientist Mary Kenneth Keller, who is actually the first woman in America to earn a PhD in computer science, and actually the second person altogether, and by a very short period. She once said, I was interested in doing it, and she was talking about studying computer science. I was interested in doing it. There was an opportunity, and I just did it. Give the gift, provide the opportunity. And I wonder what one of these kids may be able to do. $4,000 for 40 kids, 1 year. Who here will change the fate of the computer industry and give a hand to the next Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Larry Page out of Bangladesh? All right. We will usually, if we were all in a big ballroom, I'd be waiting around, making jokes and trying to pinpoint people, as well as watch your donation, very generous donations come in. That's a very fun part of doing this. And I'm sure in the background, you all are thinking about the right amount to donate and making those pledges and donations. Next up is $2,500, and that's just $200 a month, and actually $100 with matching. You can support an entire preschool in the slums of Bangladesh for an entire year. My kid's daycare right now costs about $2,500 just for a month. So you can support. With that amount, you can support preschool for an entire year. So one thing about Spreeha, Spreeha realized early on that healthcare alone wasn't going to be sustainable. So we sat down with a lot of our beneficiaries and tried to figure out what's the best way to get small children who doesn't have anything to do in the day, what to do so that they are in a healthy environment. Because without that, if they're always in environments, disease-prone environments, providing healthcare after they get sick is not a sustainable model. So they talked about at-home daycares, at-home care. So Spreeha actually did one better. We built schools. With your very generous donations, we built multiple schools in the slums of Bangladesh. So students, children can actually spend the day in the school. Next, we have $1,000, $500, $1,500. With that, you can provide after-school education not for one child, but for 70 for a whole year. For $125 a month, you can send 70 kids to after-school care for a whole year. And at the same, or you can also think about it from a different point of view. You can provide one school for Progga, the amazing adolescents girls program, for 40 students for an entire year. That's what 1,500 can do. Next up, we come to telehealth. If you want to provide that telehealth to 60 slum dwellers, you can do that with just $600. With the pandemic, telehealth has been crucial to survival almost, because otherwise a lot of patients would have to actually go into hospitals and clinics just for a cough. And with how the situations are and how the hospitals can get overcrowded sometimes, that actually can be even more dangerous. So with telehealth, just like in America and the rest of the world, in the slums of Bangladesh, Spreeha was able to provide a safe mechanism where the slum dwellers were able to get the healthcare that they needed. And $600, and you can obviously multiply it to provide the benefit to many more, as many as you want. But for $600, you can provide mobile healthcare to 60 slum dwellers. Those of you joined us yesterday, we saw a video. We saw the video of Momin Mia, Ram Prasad, Sudep, and Nipa providing telehealth. This has become a crucial avenue for getting healthcare to remote locations. Health Spreeha, help us innovate further in healthcare to provide the best possible care. Once again, I will remind everybody about in the main platform, you can go and click on the donate button. If you're watching me in the video over there, it's the donate button is somewhere over here. And if you look underneath, you can see the pledge button. You can do either at your convenience. And don't forget about company matching. A lot of companies provide company matching, and you can double the impact that you're giving today. So a few last amounts. I'll talk about a little bit about a few other amounts, and anything that you can give at any point is welcome. Any small amount that you give helps slum dwellers in Bangladesh and people, as Shams said, who just didn't win the lottery of birth like we did. It can empower them out of poverty with healthcare, education, skills training. So for $300, you can provide after-school support for 2 children for a whole year. For $200, you can provide maternal care for 1 pregnant mother for 1 year. Sometimes restaurant bills in Seattle are as much as that, and you can actually support a pregnant mother with that amount. With $100, you can provide skills trainings for 1 youth, which is a very crucial thing that is necessary for a lot of people to come out of poverty. I won't bore you with pointing out where the donate button and the pledge buttons are. I'm sure we have mentioned that way too many times all throughout. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see everybody in person soon. Stay safe, stay well. Good evening.
Thank you, Zaki. I think you are still sharing your screen. There
Thank
we
you,
go.
Zaki. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think by now everybody knows what the donate and the pledge button is. If anyone wants to send a check, please feel free to send it to our Spreeha address. That's a monitored, post box, mailbox. If that's a preference, please do so. While Zaki was talking, I had a few inquiries about, the scholarship fund. So again, it's you go through the same routes, but if you want your fund or your donation to go towards the scholarship fund that we have, just make a note and let us know, you would like your donation to go towards that fund, and we can appropriately funnel your donations that way. And again, thank you so much, Zakir Rahman, for taking us into the depths of what it really takes to achieve our goals and bring light to the lives of so many that we touch, right? Thank you again. And so forth. Thank you, Oneza, and thank you, Shams, for highlighting so many important scenarios in front of us this evening. And to the audience, we have a lot more to offer to you this evening. Please stay with us. Stay with us. I know, you guys are sitting in front of a screen for a while now. Use your mobile, use your iPad, stream it onto your TV. That's maybe the easiest, while you are enjoying your Sunday night dinner here. Just to make a note, we are keeping our donation page open for a month, understanding that, you may need some time into kind of flow your donations that way, or might have other inquiries our way. Please do so. We are here to accommodate all of your inquiries. And now, as I said, the evening has a lot more to offer. So ladies and gentlemen, please do stay with us. I now want to invite Spreeha board member Michael Shalve to say a few words. Michael is Principal Program Manager and AI Architect at Microsoft. He's also Assistant Professor at University of Washington, where he teaches conversational AI and innovation. He holds a master's from Copenhagen and Paris and a PhD in speech technology from University of London, and is working on academic research in conversational AI and multilingual scenarios. Welcome, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So what a weekend it has been so far. It has truly been inspiring to see all the presentations and hear about all the life impact stories that have come to be really because of the work that Spreeha does. So yes, my name is Michael Shalve. I've had the honor of serving on the Spreeha board now for a couple of years. We had the annual fundraiser event online last year, and as smooth as that went, I think we all had hoped that we'd be able to be in person for this year's fundraiser. That was not to be, but I've been very impressed with how everyone has come together to set up this weekend's event. Our programs in Bangladesh, of course, have seen a much bigger impact from the global pandemic, having to deal with a significant increase in the need of services, particularly around healthcare. And so the team has had to adapt and operate at a larger scale under much more complex constraints than we've had to deal with before. So see, for example, how we have accelerated the use of telehealth to reach much more people. And this creativity has also spilled into how we've been able to continue education programs, even when schools are closed. In my day job, I work on a team called Tech for Social Impact within Microsoft Philanthropies. We work on bringing technology solutions to the nonprofit world. So I talk with nonprofit organizations around the world every day. And I can honestly say that Spreeha stands out in two key areas, the programs and the community. So first and foremost, the mission and the programs and the direct real life impact that we see with the people we serve in Bangladesh, whether it's from healthcare at a critical time of need during the pandemic, to the education and skilling programs, and all the way to building economic opportunities, all focused on lifting people out of poverty by empowering people and transforming lives. And second, the amazing community behind everything that Spreeha does. And it goes from volunteers to donors, and of course, all the frontline workers providing services on the ground in Bangladesh. And what makes all this possible is your energy, your effort, and your donations. So on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank everyone for your participation this weekend and beyond. Thank you for your generosity and your continued support. And if you haven't had a chance to donate or pledge yet, please hit that donate button on the website and help us achieve our goal. I see the numbers coming in, it's increasing rapidly. Because of this, this is what will enable us to continue and expand the programs in Bangladesh. And so with now, I'll hand it back to Farnaz. Thank you, everyone, once again.
Thank you so much, Michael, for your time. And, you know, I actually noted down when Michael pointed out that he works with so many nonprofits due to his job, right? And then Spreeha stands out in some key areas, which I think is a very key thing for us to take away as well. So I am getting very excited, like just seeing, you know, the funds, the donations flowing in and the thermometer going up. I don't have real-time figures yet, so I don't have much to share on real time, but I'm sure we'll share it through our social media platforms on how much we have been able to raise. You know, we come and do a fundraising every year, and depending on how much funds we are able to raise, we can then funnel those back into the programs that we have running in. So please, you know, be generous tonight, be generous over the next 1 month so that our programs that are in flight stays in flight, and we can also take up some new programs under our umbrella moving into 2022, right? So thank you so much. And again, this evening has a lot more to offer. And with that, and I think some of you might be guessing, like, you know, what more can this evening offer? We have been sitting throughout this whole evening with you guys, right? But what I want to say is, if you have been following us on social media, we do have a stellar performance planned from Mir Nakibul Islam on tabla and Indra Roy Chaudhary on sitar. And let me go ahead and give a little bit of introduction to them so you understand their background and where they are coming from, right? So Indra Roy Chaudhary is a disciple of the sitar maestro Pandit Shubrata Roy Chaudhary, groomed in the Veenkar style of the Senia Gharana, which maintains the Dhrupadi origins of Indian classical music. Indrajit strives to innovate while keeping a firm connection with his past. While completing his undergrad studies at Duke University, Indrajit received the Benenson Award for the Arts to further his study of Indian classical music. And coming to Mir Nakibul Islam, he's an avid student of tabla. Mir has trained in the traditional Guru Shishya style of Indian classical music from Pandit Ashok Paul, disciple of the great tabla guru Pandit Jinan Prakash Ghosh, and now he's living and working in the New York City. He performs regularly with musicians from a wide variety of other genres, bringing tabla to jazz, Middle Eastern music, and other contexts. And I don't want to bore you further. Let's welcome Mir and Indro. Thank you so much, both of you, for making time on this Sunday evening for us. All yours.
Thank you, Farnaz, and thank you all the members of Spreeha, and happy to be a part of this Spreeha Journey of Hope 2021. And this is Mir Nakibul Islam, and I'm being joined by my good friend Indra Chaudhary.
Great to be here in support of this cause. When Mir told me that this opportunity had arisen, I was really looking forward to playing for you all and being here for you today. We know what these kind of movements can do to help the people in countries like Bangladesh, and we know what the power of music can do to help these causes. So it's really great to be here today.
Yes, and me and Indro, we got into this, and then we definitely cooked some music, fresh and new, and also at the same time old. We are primarily Indian classical musicians, so we play an age-old tradition of this music, which is always transferred from generation to generation, and we are just a student of the music, and at the same time we are performers, we are also teachers. So without further ado, maybe Indro, you can tell a little bit of what we have as the first set.
Yes, so the first item that we're presenting is a classical item based on Rag Jhinjhoti, an evening raga. Indian classical music is very close to nature, and this rag draws its inspiration from the cicada bugs, Jhiji Poka. So Rag Jhijit, hope you enjoy.
Yeah, and I would like also want to like remind everyone, while you enjoy the music, you can still donate, and keep the donations coming, because this donations can definitely make a big impact in somebody else's life. And this is giving back to the community, giving back to someone who is in need.
my God. I think we all became speechless. Thank you so much, Indro and Amir. I was always a fan of Mir, but Indraji, thank you so much. You're amazing. It's the first time we're just experiencing your talent, and this is so amazing. I just wanted to update you all that we're getting a lot of love and comments through our social media live section as well. And people have been also saying that they have never experienced a relaxing Sunday like this. Thank you so much for doing that for our donors and volunteers. And while you were performing, we also got flooded with donations. So when you started, we were at 73,000, but now we are 100,027. Yes. So keep the inspiration coming in.
It's really wonderful to be able to be a part of this movement, and of course the power of music is always something that we believe in, and that's what keeps us going. And we really are appreciative of the fact that we can bring this power to this movement and to this organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's one thing that we recorded it live, but it's done in one take. So that's one thing that I would like to mention, because, we are like living in this pandemic world still. And we were giving it the thought that what about we go on live, but then the technical glitch and all those like things that might happen. And then we wanted to have this experience as smooth and as high quality as possible, so that if you are in your living room or using your laptop or you're on your phone, just put on the headphones and you can feel as if it's like you're in the auditorium. So that's the reason. And just to talk you a little bit about the structure of the music, because I think that's also a bit important. So this structure of the music, it's mostly improvised. I would say out of 100%, we have a song that you could hear that and there were like two sections. First, there was a buildup of the scale, which we call raga. The raga name was Chinjoti, which is like the Jijit Poka. So it's an insect name, and the sound of insect, so it imitates that. Indra, is that a fair way to say it?
I guess it draws inspiration. It doesn't sound quite like the cicada bugs or Gigi Poka, but yes, you get that feeling of that of an evening excitement. That when you hear, step outside and you hear those insects, and it's evening, and it does give you a certain feeling, which is of course the main point of raga is to go along with the human emotion as the times of day progress. So we have ragas for morning, afternoon, evening, night, and of course all the natural elements that accompany these times of day.
Yeah, perfect. And then, and when we build up the mood of the raga, or like the scale, ascending, descending, so phrase by phrase, so it was a much shorter representation of what we usually do for like a longer performance. And then eventually the space was created through a time cycle, which we played on 16-beat, a long 16-beat, and then eventually we moved to a faster pace. And that was a short representation of Raga Jinjoti, amazingly played by Indro and accompanied on tabla by me. So we have another set, small set. Indro, would you like to talk a little bit about the next
Sure. The next presentation is set to Rag Pilu. Rag Pilu is generally a Tumri rag, the Tumri style based on the vocal genre in Indian classical music of Tumri, more light classical style, more ornamentation. In this rag, I played a composition, an arrangement by Pandit Buddhadev Dasgupta, the great Sarodya. He took a Rabindra Sangeet, a composition of Rabindranath Tagore, Shedin Dujone, and he created an instrumental composition based on that. And I've played that here. It's set to,
I can add a little more to that. So it's, even though you can hear the song, the inspiration, of like from the Tagore song Shedin Dujone, but it's not just like in a note by note imitation of the song. So it's inspired by that song, and eventually it's a Indian classical composition with definitely some like one song and then different parts. And then there's like improvisation there. So it's again an improvised piece. Is that like correct to
Right.
say? Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have that composition set to Madhyalay, medium tempo, followed by Drut Gat composition, fast teen tal. So we'll move on to Rag Pilu. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, we are back. So that
We are not. I think we are lost somewhere else.
Oh my God, guys, that was amazing. I mean, that was amazing. You know, post-pandemic, whenever you guys are performing in person, we are dropping in.
That's actually why I joined again, to say that I know it's pretty late at New York and you guys are still up for Spreeha, and you have been watching the whole show from the very beginning. We cannot really tell, because we're all volunteers here, we cannot really tell how much that means to us that you're doing this from New York, and we would take any opportunity possible to bring you guys here in person when there is a good world again, and would love to hear. Seattle population, we are very shy, but so we don't comment a lot, but we donate a lot, and we appreciate musicians a lot. Everybody is everybody has a very cultural mindset here. So I know everybody is appreciating this so much. And I can see the donations coming in as well. I just quickly wanted to mention that Spreeha also accepts stocks and shares as donations. So if that's something you have in your mind, let us know and we will tell you the details. I think I talked a lot, but it's just out of excitement. To you, Mir and Indra.
Well, we certainly would have loved to have been there and played for you all in person, and I'm sure the opportunity will come. You know, we will get better, you know, and our live music will come back to stages and be possible again very soon. So we're looking forward to that, but we definitely appreciate this opportunity, any opportunity to share our music with your members and the audience.
Yeah, I was also like going through some like comments on like, you know, I was checking on my phone and then like checking that. I'm like really I appreciate like all of your kind words and your attention, and also to Indian classical music. And even though I say that we play this like old style, but it's actually every time we play it's new. Even though it's meant to be old, but since we have to improvise 90 to 95%, so it's new. And we also play newer things. And one the next song, which like we both played as the last like, you know, item for like tonight, like from our end recorded, but like, you know, recorded live and recorded at once, and like it was in an auditorium space, and we imagined all of you guys like, you know, were there, and we felt the positivity and the power of the music. And that song is quite known to a lot of like the folks. So Indro, do you want to introduce the song again?
Yeah, so the next item, we moved away from pure Indian classical, but what we chose to play was based on the old English folk melody Greensleeves, which is actually a song that dates back to the 1500s. So it has quite a history, and it has that feel, you know, in the melody also. And the reason I chose this, in fact, I'm not the first one to play on this melody. Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab had also worked with this melody. And the idea is to play a melody that you know, would be familiar to some people in the audience. They might not be familiar with a song like Shedin Dujone, for example, but people who are familiar with this melody would be able to correlate how we improvise based on a given melody. What alap is, basically alap is breaking down the melody and its phrases in a way that kind of, you know, shows the structure of that melody and is very specific, and it becomes more and more specific, and that's what the raga actually is. So do ragas come from songs, or do songs come from ragas? This is kind of a chicken and egg
the
question.
chicken egg and fallacy the question.
Right. So and I think you know, Indian classical music has its roots in folk music, and in that sense raga comes from song and not the other way around. So let's play this version of Greensleeves. Hope you enjoy. It's something that I tried for the first time. So it's an experiment, and hope you enjoy it.
Let's listen to it.
Oh my God. You know, this Sunday evening could not have wrapped up any better. Thank you so much, both Indro and Mir. I know it's almost close to midnight your time, and on a Sunday night, you probably have to go to work tomorrow morning. This is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so, so much for bringing your music to us and, you know, just being here for us and supporting us in this event that we have. So thank you, both of you.
Thank you for your kind words, and happy to be a part of it. And it's fine, it's we are already us creative musicians, we have a tendency of staying up a little late, so it's not that late yet, but yes, it's getting close to midnight. That's correct.
It's been a real pleasure being a part of this. It was, really inspiring to hear all the speakers and hear the stories and interviews, people who have been benefiting from this organization. Really inspiring to see all of that. We really do hope that we can play for you in person in the upcoming years and keep contributing to this cause and to this organization.
Absolutely. Hopefully, this is not the normalcy. Once we get out of this pandemic, or at least if it's contained, we should be able to do a lot more in person. I hope both of you can fly in at some point. That would be amazing for us to, I miss those days when we could just sit in that auditorium. And that's why I was like, I don't have an audience. I don't know whom am I speaking to. I'm like speaking blindly. And I think for you, it's also a similar experience because you don't have that big audience in front of you, right? To keep that motivation going. But, well, it is what it is. But thank you so much for being for us tonight. And also, thank you for sitting through the whole event. I know it's a long event and we probably, lost some audience in between and then had people join back. We see that all the time. But the good thing is our donations has been on the rise. We don't have final figures yet. I know it takes a few days for everything to trickle in. And I think what I have in front of my screen right now is not the accurate figures. We are close to 130 right now. So, if everybody who has watched and is still here, may get your Sunday night better, get a better sleep in your system, get generous, make that donation. Because if we don't reach our target goal, we're actually close. We are very close. And I am sure we're going to reach our target goal of 200 before the end of the week. But, if our donations don't come in, if our funding doesn't go through, it's not that we cannot achieve a small task or a project doesn't take place. What happens at the end is someone's livelihood is taken away from them. Someone's dreams are crushed. So that's why your donations are so very important for us every year over year. And again, Indra and Mir, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I cannot, thank you enough and appreciate enough. And of course, your music. I don't think, we could have done anything better, but the combination of sitar and tabla and your combination of between the new and the old, it's just mesmerizing music. And I think everybody will agree with us here.
It's been a real honor to be here with everyone.
All right, with that, I know, it's pretty close. Actually, it's also close to 9 here in the Pacific time, close to midnight in the East time zone. So everyone who joined us today, thank you so much. Your participation is very crucial to Spreeha's success. We value your partnership. It's of utmost importance to us. If you have any questions for us, please send them. You all know by now where the donate button is, where the pledge button is. Our address, it's on our website and our campaign page. If you want to send a check, if you want to donate through stocks, if you want to make, a donation in our scholarship fund, or if you want to contribute in any other way, if you want to come volunteer with us, right, please do reach out to us. Do let us know. And with that, I will close tonight. A huge thank you to everyone who participated. Meera and Indro, thank you again for staying with us throughout. We hope, we'll have your support moving forward. That will be a joy for us to bring you in person. And again, thank you everybody for joining and participating. And, I am looking at the numbers. This is another incredible year for us, another very successful event. And to pull such an event, and I also want to take a moment to recognize the efforts of all the volunteers who, worked day and night to pull together this event. to the audience, it might just seem, hey, you know what? You guys are coming on Zoom and just talking, right? No, that's not how it works. There's a lot of effort and work that goes on the back end. And then I think you have seen snippets of through some of our stories today and our journeys today, like, what really happens at the field level, like, how much ingrained people are into the system to funnel this and push this forward so that we can start making small differences. Like we can start making that movement. We can push along that movement. So, I think I have spoken enough today. So I was running a cold. If anybody has heard me coughing in the background and sneezing, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but everybody have a great week ahead. Have a great year ahead. Thank you so much.